Hey, my name is Tom Donney, and I'm at the Sturgis Car Museum. We're off of exit 32 in beautiful Sturgis. And I'm here today with some good friends and my wife who've helped me do some racing. And it's a little different situation because I also coach football at Sturgis High School. I'm a scooper defensive line coach. So I'm one of those unusual guys that does more than one thing. So the other thing we do here, besides I'll have all these cars, is we race some cars. We race at Bonneville Salt Flats. Now, if you've ever heard about Bonneville, but if you watch the movie The World's Fastest Indian, that'll give you a great idea what Bonneville is all about. But it's about setting land speed records on this incredible surface of salt. And I've got with me today my beautiful bride, Patty, and she's part of our pit crew. She's been going for about 6 years to Bonneville. And then this is Dan Ronkin. He was our crew chief this year. We went in September of this year, and we set 2 land speed records with a 1968 Saab Sonnet. Looks a little bit maybe like a Datsun 240Z, and some people call it a Swedish Corvette. Anyway, we've set 17 records to date at Bonneville driving some of these old cars that are here on display in the museum. And we go there and have a lot of fun. Kind of, do we, Dan? Is it fun? It's an experience. Yeah,
it's bucket list.
Yeah, it's fun when it's done. It's one of those things that when you're there and racing, it gets to be a little intense sometime. And we've got a video playing behind, and it's quite an experience. If you ever get the chance to drop off of I-80 and see the Bonneville Salt Flats, I'd highly recommend it. And Patty, you got anything you want to add to the salt mix that we do here?
Well, I guess I would just say, people always say, oh, I bet that's fun. And I'm always like, I would never put racing at Bonneville and fun in the same sentence, because it's, like Tom said, it's really intense when you're out there. It's very hot. You're out there to set records. So it's an experience, like Dan said.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a top speed record. It's an average speed over a measured mile. So it's a 2-day event to set one record. You first have to go faster than the existing record in this one measured mile. And then the next day you do what's called a return run or a record run. You've got to come back and then run again, and they again measure your average speed for that measured mile. Then it's the 2-day average of your 2 days runs. So it gets a little bit confusing, but it's not just your your terminal velocity or your exit speed, it's your average speed over 2 days. So that's what makes it a little bit different than a lot of racing where it's one and done. This one, you've got to do it twice. So it adds an extra element of stress, excitement, whatever.
Yep.
Dan, this was your first time. How did...
Yes, I was amazed at how much science actually goes into doing it out there. Tom's got a book that's about this thick, and wind direction, temperature, barometric pressure. It's just kind of amazing.
He did a great job, and of course Patty's always along giving us a hand, doing a great job. And like I said, we've got 17 records to date. Unfortunately, it happened during football season, so I had to miss a scooper game, so I apologize to all the players for that. But anyway, we really appreciate Black Hills TV coming here today and telling a little bit of our sob story. So we're here with the car, and again, this is a 1968 Saab Sonnet, and it's powered by a 3-cylinder, 2-stroke engine. So it's a little bit different than the cars you would drive every day, in that when you put gas in this one, you actually have to add oil to it too. So that makes it a little different. But this is what we race on the salt, and we've set about 15 land speed records with this car so far. When we first started racing, the record was an active record being set every season. And we were able to take that in 2011. And that record we took that year originally was about 98 mile per hour. And we ended up doing about 107 that first year. Since then, we've been bumping it up every year. We've gone to Bonneville 10 years. We've been fortunate to set records 9 of those 10 years, which includes 17 records total, 15 in this car, 2 in another car. But today we've got the record up right around 126.7. And then we have the record in another class with a little bit bigger engine at about 120. I think that one's around 127.9. So we were able to get top speed of around 130, which is pretty good when you figure from the factory this engine only had about 60 horsepower. So that's pretty good when you figure the weight of the car and the driver. So it just keeps rolling down there, and we keep setting records with it. But maybe I think I'm going to get in the car and see if we can do a dyno test. We've actually got it on a chassis dyno right now, and this is kind of what I do. I run it. I'll do multiple runs on the dyno, figure out what's working, what's not working. You read about changes and things you could do online. So those things we all prove out on a chassis dyno. So we take a lot of the guesswork out of what's going on. And having a dyno in-house has been critical to our success through the years, and having a great crew like Dan and Patty and others that have helped through the years. So we'll see if we can get this thing to fire up, and we'll go from there. What we did a dyno test here, and we're trying to prove out changes we make to the car. And this is a graph that'll show us the red is our horsepower, the blue is our torque, and it'll show us our RPM range and things, and fuel ratio is the green line. But we're looking at this, we've made changes to the car, and then did runs, and we've got our test data, and then we'll make more alterations to the car and see if the changes we're making is progressively getting us more horsepower or more torque, or how we're doing it. And that's kind of the whole purpose of a dyno. And without a dyno, you're just kind of guessing what you're doing is maybe better, or seat of pants feel when you drive a vehicle. So having access to a dyno is really nice for anyone that likes to really tune stuff and make high performance. And that's all we're doing here.